Chosen one, pause for a moment. This is not random. This is not a coincidence. This very moment is a divine interruption, heaven pressing pause on all the noise around you, because this message cannot wait any longer. You could have skipped past, you could have scrolled by, but your spirit wouldn't let you. Deep down, something inside is trembling because you know this is for you. You are not here by chance. You are not like the rest. From the beginning you were marked, set apart, called by name. You've always felt it, haven't you? You enter a room, and the atmosphere shifts. People misunderstand you, sometimes even reject you, not because you lack value, but because they cannot comprehend the weight of the anointing on your life. What you carry is not ordinary. That restlessness in your soul, that quiet knowing that you were never meant to just blend in, that is heaven whispering, "Wake up, chosen one. Your time is now." Every delay you faced, every door that closed, every disappointment that broke your heart, it wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to direct you. Look back and notice, how many times were you spared? How many times did you survive what crushed others? How many battles did you walk away from when the odds were stacked against you? That wasn't luck. That was divine preservation. That was heaven's hand over your life. Your survival is not an accident. It is proof that God has invested in you. Listen carefully. There is an urgency in this moment. You cannot keep postponing your calling. You cannot keep silencing your own spirit. The hiding season is over. The running is finished. You are stepping into your assignment. And yes, heaven knows what you've endured. Every sleepless night, every silent tear, every betrayal from those who should have stood by you. But even in your loneliness, heaven never abandoned you. Angels stood watch. The Spirit whispered encouragement when you were too weary to go on. What felt like breaking was really shaping. What looked like the end was only preparation for a greater beginning. Chosen one, you are stronger than you realize. Hell came against you early because it recognized the crown you carry. Darkness tried to silence you because it knew the impact you would have once awakened. The battles you fought were never random, they were targeted. Why? Because you are dangerous to darkness. Even when you tried to hide your light, heaven still heard your cry. That cry reached the throne, and it was answered with mercy, with protection, with a promise of a future that cannot be stolen. That's why your enemies could not destroy you. That's why you kept rising when others expected you to fall. You are not just surviving. You are proof that destiny cannot be buried. And hear me, the same God who lifted you before is about to lift you higher than you've ever dreamed. Scripture says in John 1 verse 5, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." That light is inside of you. It cannot be extinguished. It terrifies the enemy every time you choose to rise. And today I declare you will rise. This is not just motivation. This is a summons. You are standing at a crossroads, and the decision you make today will echo through eternity. Heaven is leaning in. Angels are watching. Your obedience will unlock doors no human hand can shut. But your silence, your delay, could cost you blessings you cannot afford to lose. This is not to frighten you. It is to awaken you. Chosen one, the alarm clock of heaven is ringing. No more snooze. No more delay. The moment is now. You must answer. You must step out in faith. You must move into what you were created for. So if this word burns inside you, if you sense God speaking through these lines, don't keep it to yourself. Share this with someone else who needs to wake up. Subscribe so you never miss the moments when heaven speaks directly to you. And in the comments, declare it with boldness. Write the number 777, the number of divine completion and spiritual awakening, as a sign that you are ready, that you are rising, that you are stepping into destiny. This is not the end. This is the beginning. The chosen ones are awakening, and you are one of them. Chosen one, pause right here. Do not scroll past this moment. This is not coincidence, it is covenant. This is heaven's reminder that you are aligned with something greater than yourself. You can feel it stirring. That inner conviction you carry is not meant to be silenced. This is your divine moment. Step into it. From the very hour you entered this world, a mark rested upon you. You might not have recognized it, but others did. That mark made you different. And for years, being different felt like a curse rather than a gift. While others blended easily into the crowd, you stood out, even when you tried your hardest to hide. The whispers behind your back, the stares, the isolation you endured, they were never accidents. They were signals, proof that you are not ordinary, proof that heaven set you apart from the very beginning. Hear me, there is no mistake in your existence. Long before your first breath, your story was written in eternity. That's why you've always felt like you didn't belong. You weren't created to fit in. You were created to stand out. People may have labeled you, rejected you, or misunderstood you, but God's hand has rested on your life since birth. Every time man overlooked you, heaven noticed you. Every time you were ignored, your name was still being spoken in the courts of eternity. Think back to your childhood, the times you felt misunderstood. Maybe you were more sensitive, carrying the weight of others' pain on your shoulders. Maybe you asked questions no one else seemed to care about, searching for meaning when those around you were content with shallow answers. That was not weakness. That was evidence. Evidence that eternity was planted in your soul before you even knew how to name it. Scripture tells us in Psalm 139, verse 16, "Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." Beloved, that means you are intentional. You are not an accident. Heaven planned you, designed you, and preserved you for such a time as this. This is why some people could never understand you. How can the ordinary explain the chosen? They only saw your surface, but heaven always saw the seal stamped upon your spirit. And that seal cannot be erased. Chosen one, remember the nights you felt a longing deep inside, as if something greater was pulling you forward? That longing wasn't restlessness. It was calling. Your soul has always known you were meant for more. The silent tears, the battles no one else knew about, the weight you carried alone, they were all reminders that your life was marked for something sacred. Look back closely, and you'll see the fingerprints of God everywhere. The friendships that faded, the doors that closed, the seasons of solitude, all of it was divine orchestration. Every detour was direction. Every delay was protection. Every ending was the opening to a greater beginning. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was random. Heaven was shaping you in ways you couldn't yet understand. Being chosen does not mean life is easy. It means life is purposeful. Your steps are ordered. Your path is divine. The resistance you faced wasn't punishment. It was confirmation. If your life had no purpose, the enemy will have left you alone. The warfare proves your worth. The scars prove your calling. The fact that you're still here today proves that destiny is stronger than destruction. You've asked before, why me? Why can't I just be like everyone else? The answer is simple, because you were never meant to be everyone else. You were called to be light in darkness, and light cannot hide. Light cannot blend in. Light must shine, but shining comes with pressure. Pressure produces diamonds. Fire refines gold. Crushing releases oil. Your life has been pressed not to break you, but to release something fragrant from within you, something heaven intends to pour out into the world. One day, you will look back and realize why the path was so hard. Every rejection pushed you closer to your Creator. Every heartbreak taught you compassion. Every tear watered the seeds of your future. Not a single moment has been wasted. Heaven wastes nothing in the life of the chosen. So today, let this truth sink deep into your spirit. You were marked from birth. The seal of heaven rests on you, and no darkness can erase it. You may have felt invisible to people, but you were never invisible to God. You may have felt unwanted by some, but you were always chosen by Him. The time is drawing near for you to walk fully in that identity. No longer will you question who you are. No longer will you shrink back in doubt. You will rise boldly, clothed in the name heaven has spoken over you, chosen one. Understand this. Every burden you've carried was not punishment, but preparation. The weight was heavy because heaven trusted you with strength others could not carry. You endured valleys that others would not survive. You stood in storms that should have drowned you, but here you are, still standing. Every hidden cry, every secret pain, every sleepless night, heaven saw it all. Your heart feels deeply not because you are weak, but because you were created to carry compassion. That heart, stretched by sorrow, will one day heal the broken. That heart, pierced by loss, will one day overflow with love for the forgotten. The very trials that tried to break you have been shaping you into a vessel of hope. So do not despise the wait, chosen one. It has been your teacher. Loneliness taught you how to hear God's whisper. Pain taught you how to intercede. Rejection taught you your value was never in man's approval. You carry wisdom born from suffering, and that wisdom will one day save lives. And remember the words of Psalm 56 verse 8, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book." Not a single tear has been wasted. Every drop has been noticed. Every cry has been answered. Chosen one, your story is far from over. It is only beginning. Rise, for the seal of heaven is upon you. Chosen one, listen carefully. The word declares in Psalm 56 verse 8, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book." Think about that. Every tear you shed in silence, every cry no one else heard, heaven documented it. Nothing you endured was wasted. Every wound became a doorway for God's presence. Every loss became an invitation for His faithfulness to be revealed. That is why you could never truly collapse. No matter how close you came to giving up, there was always a strength that rose from within you, a resilience you did not recognize, a power that did not belong to you. That was the hand of God lifting you when you could not lift yourself. Chosen one, understand this. The very things that made you weep in secret will become the reasons you lead in public. The scars you hide today will be the testimonies that heal tomorrow. People will look at you and see survival. Heaven will look at you and see destiny fulfilled. None of the weight you carried was in vain. It was birthing something eternal. Yes, you were misunderstood, even by those closest to you. They could not see why life pressed so heavily upon your shoulders. But the truth is, they were never meant to understand. They were not carrying what you carry. You are not burdened by accident. You are burdened because you are chosen. And with being chosen comes resistance, misunderstanding, and at times isolation. But remember this, isolation was never punishment. It was preservation. The wilderness you walked through was not empty. It was holy ground. The silence that scared you was actually God's invitation to hear Him more clearly. The tears you cried into your pillow were not wasted. They rose as prayers before the throne. Heaven has been watching all along, shaping you, preparing you for such a time as this. Beloved, never forget, you were never carrying the weight alone. Every time you staggered under the pressure, unseen hands lifted you. Every time you nearly collapsed, grace came like air in your lungs. You are still here, not because you were unbreakable, but because God refused to let you break. Now I ask you, chosen one, to take a step of faith. Declare it boldly. Write these words, "I am rising." Type it in the comments. Say it out loud. Why? Because there is power in declaration. You are not just leaving a comment. You are sealing an agreement with heaven. You are testifying that the weight you carried is not your ending, but your beginning. You are refusing to be defined by pain and declaring that you are stepping into promise. When you type those words, you are marking yourself as one who refuses to stay buried under yesterday's sorrow. You are aligning your voice with heaven's decree. You are saying, no more hiding, no more shrinking back, no more silence. I am rising. Chosen one, understand, your weight was never wasted. The burdens you carried were not your end. They were the beginning of a testimony that will shake nations. You may have been crushed, but you were not destroyed. You may have been wounded, but you were not defeated. You are chosen, you are marked, and you are rising. But hear me. Do you know why the battles against you have been so fierce? It is because from the very moment you were marked by heaven, darkness took notice. The enemy recognized the light you carried and launched his assault early. That is why your childhood was filled with battles. That is why adolescence felt like war. That is why even as an adult you often felt targeted without reason. You are not cursed, you are chosen. And the chosen are always opposed. When heaven invests in a soul, hell responds with resistance. The unseen war has raged around you for years. Though you cannot always see it, you felt its weight. The confusion, the sudden setbacks, the betrayals that cut deep, these were not random. They were signs of a greater conflict. Darkness was trying to silence your voice because it carries authority. It was trying to snuff out a flame that cannot be extinguished. But you survived every attack because your destiny is stronger than every scheme of the enemy. Chosen one, look at your life. The closed doors, the crumbled relationships, the betrayals that nearly crushed you. None of them were accidents. What felt like random pain was targeted strategy. The enemy knew that if you ever stepped fully into who you were created to be, his plans would unravel. That is why the warfare felt so personal. But as the apostle wrote in Ephesians 6 verse 12, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." The faces may have been human, but the source was spiritual. Darkness operates through people just as light does. But every attempt to use people against you, heaven turned for your refining. What was meant for destruction became training. What was meant to crush you became the very thing that taught you how to stand. Beloved, the clash of kingdoms over your life is proof that you carry influence far beyond the ordinary. You carry a mantle that threatens the agenda of darkness. That is why you've often felt like you were standing in storms you didn't provoke. It wasn't weakness, it was warfare. It wasn't punishment, it was proof that you are a threat. And yet here you are, still breathing, still standing, still holding faith. That is proof enough that light is stronger than darkness. Even at your weakest, your spirit refused to bow. That whisper that told you, "Keep going," was the voice of God reminding you, the war is fierce, but the victory is already yours. Never forget, you have never fought alone. Angels have stood guard, unseen but mighty. The Spirit interceded when you could not find words. The hand of God preserved you when you had no strength left. That is why you are alive today, carrying destiny inside you. You are not just a survivor. You are living evidence that heaven always wins. And this is why the enemy fears you. He knows that when you step fully into your assignment, chains will break. He knows that when you rise, others will rise with you. He knows that the light you carry will expose his darkness. That is why the fight has been so relentless. But chosen one, never mistake the battle's intensity as abandonment. Heaven never left you. The warfare itself was confirmation that you are a danger to hell and a treasure to heaven. Lift your head. See your scars as medals of honor. They prove you walked through fire and came out with faith. They are proof that though kingdoms clashed over your soul, heaven's decree prevailed. And because heaven's decree has prevailed, your story will not end in defeat, but in glory. You are not ordinary. You never were. The warfare proves it. The survival proves it. The light inside you proves it. Chosen one, the clash of kingdoms over your life is not a reason to fear. It is the reason to rise.